Hey folks, I thought I had best give you some kind of update as things have developed over the last couple of weeks fairly drastically. And I can imagine that a lot of you are wondering what is going on and how we are coping and what the plans are for the future. Um, Only 2 months ago, I think we had our AGM, and obviously the outlook, everything at that point was hugely positive. And actually, since then, we had the first week in March was our second biggest week we'd ever had in the brew pub. So things were had been going well and were continuing to go well. Um, uh, and then the world changed and turned entirely on its head a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, thereabouts. Obviously, we had no plans in place to deal with such a situation. Brewery, which is bar led, selling the majority of beer through our own taps, which is obviously our complete strength in almost every circumstance. The moment we have our bars shut down, it turns into our greatest weakness. Having our bars shut down obviously is not something that we would ever plan to happen. So when people were obviously encouraged not to go to the pub Monday a week and a half ago, and then our pubs, I mean, at that point, pretty much the trade in our pubs died. We introduced measures as best we could to try and keep the customers and our staff safe through that week. And maintained open. And then Friday morning, in hindsight, was I'm really glad we made that decision prior to the government stepping in on Friday night and enforcing pubs to shut. But on Friday morning, we made our own decision that it just wasn't worth the risk from any perspective. To keep the small bar open, so chose to close small bar on Friday morning, and transfer the brew pub from being open entirely to just being takeaway. And then the Monday after that, Monday just gone past now, we closed the brew pub entirely again. It didn't feel like we were achieving anything, both financially, but also from a safety of our team. And the customers coming to the venue and the country as a whole, encouraging people to come out and come down and pick things up. We couldn't stack it up in our conscience. So made the extremely difficult decisions, and from both perspectives, I think choosing to close small bar entirely on Friday was a really difficult and emotional thing for all of us to get over. And then the decision finally to close the brew pub entirely on Monday morning, again a really difficult and emotional decision to try and get through. It's something that's completely out with our control, and the gravity of the situation obviously is far greater than the day-to-day turnover performance of our company. So it's just something that we need to deal with and get through. We're doing a bunch of things to try to ensure that we can come through the far side of this, which I'll go into. But I think before I blab on too much, there's a message that I should say at this point. Really fundamental. We have £100,000 worth of stock in our tanks. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering if there's anything that you can do to help us at this stage. We have all of that beer that we are transferring into tank over the course of the next two weeks thereabouts. We're no longer brewing. Once all that beer is packaged, we will shut down. Our ability to get through the far side of this will partially depend on our ability to turn all of those cans into cash. And not have to dispose of them because they go out of date, because this thing drags on so long. So if there's anything that you folks can do for us, it's log on to our online shop as often as you possibly can. I appreciate that Probably everyone is going through financial difficulty at this stage and having real concerns about the coming months. But any disposable cash you have, jump in there. Buy beer. I envisage that couriers will be able to keep going throughout this. So providing that we've got stock, you'll be able to buy it. So if there's anything that you can do, it is that. It is help us get the cans off of our stock, off of our floor and into your fridge. And turn that asset into cash. And also at the same time, happily fill your beer with fridge. It's a win-win, I hope. So the situation right now, we have we have furloughed the government announcement to give us financial aid for our teams was obviously a fairly huge thing. The people that we have in the company are a huge part of who we are and what we are. At no point did we even consider laying people off. Even if the government hadn't stepped in and offered financial funding, we would have emptied a bank account first and foremost to ensure that they were still on their payroll. And maintain, because there's no point in this company getting through the far side of it without the people that make the company being with us. Happily, we are being supported by the government, so there's a large part of the bottom end cost in the business which is being taken off through the period of time that we have to remain open. Unfortunately, there are certain things that can't be taken off. Small bar will benefit from a grant, so its rate of value allows it to. So we'll receive a cash grant from the government into that company. Unfortunately, the left-handed giant has too high a rate of value to benefit from any grant. So we will at the brew pub have rates written off for the year 2021. So that's April 2020 to March 2021, so no rates for that period, which equates to about £26,000 saving at the brew pub over the entirety of the year. But over the course of a £3.5 to £4 million turnover, that kind of saving is not going to make a great deal of difference to anything or anyone. Unfortunately, the government has not brought in any kind of reliefs for businesses that are not hospitality sector related. So at the moment, the brewery units 3, 8 and 9 in Wadehurst, we don't have any rates relief, so we're expected to pay full rates, and we don't have any rent relief, so we're expected to pay full rent. So there's only so far we can take our costs per month down, unfortunately. Obviously, the government are offering deferment plans for all kinds of different government orientated charges, rates being one of them. And that's great in the short term. Obviously, we can kick rates forward. We can kick PAYE that was due this week, I think it is, forward. We can kick our duty payments, beer duty payments that were due at the end of the month forward, and a number of other things that are charged to us by the government that we can defer. But the problem with that obviously is that all it is doing is creating a huge problem to deal with in the future. So it will allow us to stay afloat. Obviously, we'll take advantage of all of those things that we can do, and we'll kick things forward as best we can. We've contacted all of our funders and deferred payments right, left and centre. Again, we're just kicking things forward. We are fortunate in that we have a pretty successful, profitable company when we are allowed to operate our bars. And when bars are allowed to operate, obviously, at the moment, we've not just lost our bar trade, we've lost all of the trade that we sell cans and kegs outside of our own bars to other bars, because those bars have been shut down too. So when bars are allowed to operate, we have a very successful and profitable company. So I have some confidence that despite having to defer a bunch of payments, potentially take on government-backed loans to provide a cash injection to get us through this, in the long term, we will be able to dig ourselves back out the far side. Certainly, the optimism and the plans that I presented to you at the AGM are unfortunately torn up into little pieces and thrown up into the air. And at this stage, it's no longer a case of viewing 2020 as a consolidation and slight growth year. It is a question of looking at 2020 as purely survival. I have a great deal of faith in our company, the people that I'm surrounded by, and fully believe that we will squeeze ourselves through the situation that we're going through right now. And when we do that and we can open the doors again, that will pop back into existence. And looking back in 2 or 3 years' time, this will merely be a blip. Right now, it feels a little bit painful. I appreciate as well this whole thing has been about the company, that the whole thing is a global crisis. It's a human crisis first and foremost, and it is an economic crisis secondly. So I appreciate that our business woes are a small part of the whole thing. And we're trying as best we can to get people home, make sure they stay home, and get people out of the brewery so they can isolate in their own homes as quick as possible, to try to obviously reduce the spread of the virus as much as possible. So this whole thing ends as fast as it possibly can, and we can get back to normal business. I think that is about the extent of. I just wanted to check in with you all, really. I appreciate that you'll all be concerned and wondering what's going on. I think that the headlines there are one. I believe we will get through this, and we'll be back to enjoying beers in both Small Bar and Finzel's in some time. I believe that off the back of that, we will build ourselves back to success and profitability off the back of the hole that we're about to fall into through this period. And finally, what you can do for us through the next few weeks while the online shop is still stocked and going is to help us out by, whenever you have the ability to log in, buy beer, fill your fridge up, tell your friends, pass your discount code on to anyone you want to. We're not precious. The more people are on there buying beer, the better. This is at this stage not about profit at the bottom end of selling beer. It is about turning a hard asset in our warehouse floor into cash in our bank account. So spread that discount code around, shout to your friends on social media, tell them to log on to our website. It's free next day delivery, and the web shop should be fully stocked with a range of really great session beer and some big unusual stuff at the same time for the coming 2.5 weeks. I hope you're all well. I appreciate as well that obviously everyone, this is not a let in a giant crisis. This is something we are all going through. So I hope you're all healthy and well. And dealing with the situations that you all find yourself in as well. So take care. Good luck.